Hello everyone, it's Ngozi and welcome back to my channel. All right, how you all doing? I hope you all are doing very well. I started off my channel really talking about natural hair, and I think it's really important sometimes to lay down a lot of fundamental things when it comes down to our hair, because I think there's a lot of myths that I've been dispelling. I know a lot of my first few videos were talking about myths, misconceptions regarding natural hair care, but I think a big one that a lot of us really still hear up to the days that natural hair, type 4 hair, 4C hair, black women's hair just doesn't really grow quickly. And honestly, that's not true. It's not true. There are a lot of factors that contribute to hair growth. And despite what people want to say and think all hair does not grow the same, that is true. And a lot of hair growth is genetic. I know I may get a lot of pushback on this. You know, you have a lot of people who are making these videos, grow your hair overnight, use clove juice, use aloe vera, use rice water. And I'm not saying those things may not help. I'm not into all those fad stuff when it comes to hair growth. But the reality is that you can't take away genetics when it comes to hair growth, all right? It is definitely a factor. Some people's hair just grows quicker. And I really just wanted to quickly go into the stages of hair growth just so we can have some background around hair and growth. All right, so if you're interested in this topic, don't forget to subscribe, like, and let's get into the video. All right, so we all know it's said that hair grows about, half an inch a month. So all hair grows about, give and take, 6 inches a year. When you hear that number, 6 inches it's a lot. But then you're like, where is it on my hair? Because despite your hair growing, it is also breaking, it is also shedding. And we talk about this a lot in the natural hair community, because a lot of people feel like their hair is not growing, but no, your hair is growing, it's just breaking. So you're not seeing retention, or you're trimming your hair too much, or your ends are splitting, all right? So a lot of habits can contribute to hair loss, tight hairstyles, wearing too much weaves and things like that, manipulating your hair very roughly, not detangling, not going through the proper steps when it comes to washing your hair. All these things could lead to hair loss. And a big thing something that's really been big for the last few years is protective styles. People keep honing on the protective styles, which are good. I'm not knocking them. But I personally have kept in cornrows for 3 months, and yeah, my hair grew a little, but I didn't take out my hair, and my hair was like significantly longer. So even in these protective styles, your hair can still be breaking. Your hair can still be, shedding, especially if you're not washing it, conditioning, and doing the proper things to maintain it in the protective style. So yes, if you just think about the logic, if you don't touch your hair, it's going to grow more than you're touching it. But eventually you take out that style, if you don't manipulate it properly, if it's not moisturized, if it still can break. So protective styles are helpful, but they're not the end all be all, okay? A big factor when it comes to hair retention is dryness. And if you've been following me for the last few years, that's one of my biggest struggles. And I honestly, after talking to my stylist, I realized that my hair is not necessarily dry, it's just my texture. And I think that's a lot of times, especially for C girls, you feel as if our hair is so dry. Yes, my hair can get dry, but we're thinking our hair is going to be like this silky, that's not our texture. So our hair is never going to get to that state. It doesn't necessarily mean that our hair is so dry. So that's something I've been learning over the year, really just accepting my natural hair texture, and that includes it being somewhat dry, but not brittle dry, all right? The big thing, like we said, when it comes to genetics is that 4C hair, if you look on the spectrum 1A to 4C, tightly coiled, is more prone to breakage, not just because of the texture, but because of the coil. Oils don't really get to the tip of the hair, all right? So just to keep it real simple, the scalp, the hair, face produces sebum. And sebum is like a natural oil that, coats the hair. But when your hair is straight, that sebum can easily pass from your root down to the tip. When your hair is curlier, especially curly like 4C hair, the oils don't get to your tip, to the end of your hair as easily. So that's a big reason why more densely tighter hair, packed hair, curlier hair, that's why it's more prone to breakage, not just because of the pattern, but because physically it's harder to get those natural oils from your scalp to the tip of your hair. Another interesting fact is that as we get older, we naturally produce less sebum. So there's a lot of factors that are involved in this hair growth thing. But I really just want to quickly go into the 3/4 stages of hair growth, just so we can have a little bit of background and just start a conversation about that. The first stage is the anagen stage, also known as the growth phase, all right? your hair is in this phase about 90% of the time. All right. So this is the longest phase of hair growth. Your hair grows about a centimeter every 28 days, and it lasts anywhere from, I saw a lot of different things, but 2 to 5 years. So like you say, your hair, this is the longest phase of hair growth. And some studies show that this phase, the anagen phase, the growth phase, is longer in some Asian groups. So that can make sense why, you watch these videos, you see a lot of like women from like India or like certain countries in Asia, their hair is able to grow like to their feet, and even people whose hair is straighter doesn't grow that long, so like we said, we cannot take away the genetics when it comes to hair growth. I know we like to think that, oh no, anyone can get long hair. Yes and no. That's my answer. Yes and no. I do believe you can grow your hair longer, but I don't believe everyone's hair can necessarily get to their feet. Like I don't think that's necessarily possible. So there is a genetic component to this. The next phase is the Catagen phase, which is the transitional stage. Your hair is in the Catagen stage, and about 3% of your hair growth cycle. In the Catagen phase, growth stops and the outer root sheath shrinks. All right, and this is also termed as club hair, and it lasts for anywhere between 2 to 3 weeks. All right, so this is when you're really slowing down, growth is stopping, and you're starting to see the outer roots of the hair shrink. The next phase, which is the Telogen phase, is the resting phase, all right? And your hair is in this state for 6 to 8% of the time. The hair follicles are at rest, and this is when the club hair is formed, all right? So at this phase, if you pull your hair, you're gonna see that white little bulb at the bottom. And you're in the Telogen phase. This could last about 100 days, all right? So there is a shedding component to this phase, and some sources put it all under telogen, but then some sources have it as another phase, which is the exogen phase, which is also known as the shedding phase. All right. So in this phase is an extension of the telogen phase, and in this phase, people are experiencing a lot of shedding. All right. Some sources say it's 25 to 50 strands, even up to 100 strands a day, and this can last anywhere from 2 to 5 months. All right. So as much as we get scared when we see shedding is normal. Your hair is going to shed. It's physically a stage, but when your hair is falling out in clumps, that's a whole nother story. That's when there may be a problem. But the idea that your hair, no matter how much protective styles you put in and how little you manipulate it, your hair is going to come out. It physically sheds. It's a part of the hair cycle, So I feel like the idea that our hair is never supposed to shed or something is wrong is not true. Hair sheds, and we don't have to go all crazy about it. All right. So just with that little background of the knowing the different stages of the hair growth cycle, everyone is in the stages for a different amount of time. So like we said, we know that the anagen phase is the longest, and most people, you're going to be in that the longest, but not everyone's in it for 90%. Some people may be in it for 80%. Some people may be in it for 94%. You know what I mean? So those variations based on just, individuality, genetics, things like that can also contribute to why some people's hair is growing faster than others. There's other conditions, like alopecia, telogen effluvitum. Like there's other conditions that make people stay in certain stages longer and certain stages shorter. So there is variation to hair growth. There's no one size fits all. Everyone's hair does not grow the same. There is a standard 1/2 inch a month, but like we said, it could be more or less for each individual depending on themselves. So is long, natural type 4 hair possible? Yes. Is it always, can you combat it even if it's not necessarily in your genetics? Of course. I talk about my growth plateau, how I finally got past a certain length after being, feeling like my hair couldn't get past shoulder length, and it did. And I was doing certain things to get it there. But to say my hair is going to be knee length, I don't know. I'm going to try. Next, we're going to try to really get 2023. We're going to try to really get length in, because that's something I discussed, really feeling discouraged about my hair not really growing. But don't be discouraged, understand that everyone is different. Basically, there is a science behind hair growth. So like I said, I used to be a product junkie, buying everything that said grow your hair in 1 month, grow this, grow that. I don't do that anymore. I'm very basic. If you see me now, I have one deep conditioner, one shampoo. I keep it to the basics. Like, products are important. Yes, they can help, but they're not the end all be all. Like, I'm not getting product no, like it's, yeah, there are some better products than others, don't get me wrong. There's some conditioners to put on my hair, I'm just like, what happened? But I'm not getting too caught up in that. So I hope this video helped. If you have some questions about hair growth, I hope this answered some. If you think, can I grow my 4C hair, my type 4 hair? Yes, you can, but still understand that there are some factors that you don't have control over. I know they suggest, you know, sleeping, diet, exercise, those can be, those definitely impacted. I spoke in my last video about how when I was really stressed, a clump of my hair in the middle, this section had fell out. So things can definitely impact hair growth, like stress and just your everyday life. So do what you can, but don't obsess about it. Just do what you can and leave the rest to God. All right. So if you enjoyed this video, please like it. It helps my channel. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want more videos like this. And I'll see you next time. Bye.